What's up, Riverdalians? Welcome back to the River's Edge. I'm your host, Abby. I'm here with my co-host, Haley. And this time we have the most special guest. He's been in movies like White Chicks, shows like Peacemaker, Scary Movie, and of course, our beloved Riverdale, and so much more. An absolute legend, one of the kindest people that I have had the pleasure of meeting. Lochlyn Munro, aka Hal Cooper. Lochlyn, thank you so much for agreeing to be on the show. You're the best. And
My pleasure. Absolutely. I wouldn't miss it, Abby.
thank
Oh.
you so much. You're the best.
Oh.
And so, first off, this question a lot of the questions that we have here, by the way,
Hmm.
these are questions asked from fans all over the world that people sent in to us. And one of the most asked questions was what was it like filming the first season of Riverdale? And did you have any idea how iconic it would become?
Okay, so I do remember specific moments. I have a fond memory of the actual table read, the very first table read for the pilot with all the cast. And it was we were on I think we were being zoomed back to the Warner Brothers studio. So there was a bunch of execs on the Zoom, and I was sitting across from Luke, and Luke and I had been friends for a lot of years. Jason Priestley from 90210. We started out together in Vancouver. So when Jason got this show, whenever we were pretty young actors at that time, and we were kind of making our way from Vancouver to LA. So Jason would always invite, the buds from Vancouver to set all the time because he knew that we were
Aw.
all like young, starving actors, right? So he'd invite us out for lunch all the time. And so I got to know Luke when we were 22, 23 years old, And so I remember we looked across the table at each other because we didn't read a full script until the read through. And when we flipped the last page and it said Jason Blossom's body was washed up on the shore with a bullet hole in his head, and then that was the end of the script. I looked up at Luke and he looked at me and we both had that look in our eyes like, wow, this could be good. And the one other thing that I really remember was how good the kids were in the read through. Like they were all just like I think honestly, I think they were all off book even. It was nuts. I
Mm,
just I couldn't believe
wow.
how good they were.
Wow.
But I got to tell you, did I think it was going to be what it became right out of the gate? No. I've actually never in my career been on a show. Maybe I saw a little bit of that from when I was on Charmed. That show just
Mhm.
seemed to be. It was way bigger than I ever thought it was when I did Charmed. Um, but Riverdale, yes, second season of Riverdale, they used to have to put fences up around our what we call in Canada, they're called circuses. In the States, they're called base camps. So all the trailers at the base camps, they had to put fences around our base camps because there were always like hundreds of girls outside of where our sets were. It was nuts. There were points when the kids were having to be escorted to and from set with like we had bodyguards. I think there were big bodyguard people. I was just like, what the heck is going on?
Wow.
So yeah, yeah, I've just never experienced that. So, um, and the first season is still my favorite season. The first season was all about character. Was all about who are these people that live in this town of Riverdale that they took this all-American comic book and they sprinkled it with this Twin Peaks dust. I just
Mm-hmm.
first season was so good. So there's my long-winded answer. I'm sorry, but
Yeah.
I
No,
don't have any
don't
short
be
answers.
No,
sorry.
that was a great answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, my next question, I think this one is also sent in. It's what did you think and how did you feel about attacking your daughter as the Black Hood? Kind of specific.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, I didn't want to be the Black Hood.
Oh.
I always envisioned Hal Cooper. My Probably my favorite episode was the episode where Betty comes home from a date and I'm fixing my car, and then she starts to help me, and then she starts asking me questions about Polly.
Hmm.
Can't remember what episode. I think it was episode 7, season 2 or season 1. I can't remember. But I always envisioned Hal Cooper having this relationship with Betty that was kind of like slightly like the comic book. Betty was always in the comic book a bit of a tomboy, and I just envisioned like Hal and Betty doing like fishing trips and things like that, just
Aw.
hanging out together, right?
Yeah, I see
And
that.
Yes.
and here's a little tidbit for the audience. I was never supposed to be the Black Hood.
Yeah.
Figured. Yeah.
The
Yeah.
black the
We could
black
guess.
the Black Hood was always supposed to be Sheriff Keller.
Hmm.
And
Yeah, you could tell.
somewhere around the Carrie musical episode is when they decided, I could tell that they were leaning towards, all of a sudden Hal Cooper was kind of being always like, I was always being interrogated, if you will, by Betty about my whereabouts and this and that. And I was like, even Lily and I at one point, I'm like, I said to Lily one day, I go, this really feels like I'm like, am I the Black Hood? Do you think? She goes, no, it's not you. It's not you. And then when we did the day we filmed Midge's episode, the episode where we were burying Midge at her
Hmm.
funeral, we would do read throughs. We would take like a little longer of a lunch break, and we would have this big tent if we were on location, and we would all go in and do a read through of the next episode. And before I started that read through, the showrunner Roberto came up to me and said, "Oh, I have to talk to you after the read through." And I went, "Oh, dang."
Oh.
So that read through was the script of me showing the Cooper home movie and me admitting that I was the Black Hood.
Damn.
So here's the thing. Playing the Black Hood in season 3 was interesting. Much more dimension than playing Hal Cooper. But like, no one ever told me I basically just went one day from being like Hal Cooper to the next day, oh, by the way, you're the Black Hood. It's like the transition of when I showed that Cooper home movie, I like, it was a day. It was like, oh, all of a sudden I'm this guy now. No one prepped me. No one ever told me. It was just, I kind of like have hard feelings over that, because I feel like I should have been given more of an
Yeah.
opportunity, you know. Um, and also too, as an actor and as a person who does this for a living, I really enjoy doing that show. And when I found out I was the Black Hood, I was like, oh, so this can only end really either Hal Cooper gets killed or I end up in prison. And like, I like my job. I could see I saw the demise of my job, right? I was like, oh,
Hmm.
Right.
apparently I won't be around much. Now, I thought season 3 was actually kind of cool with all the prison scenes. I did quite enjoy those. And then when I heard that I was going to break out, I honestly thought, oh, maybe I'm going to redeem myself. I really thought I'm going to redeem myself. Somehow I'm going to save Alice and Betty from the Gargoyle King, or just something. I thought something like that. And then the very first script, when after I break out of the bus and stuff, I have a hook on my hand.
Yeah.
I'm going down the hallway like taunting Betty in the school. I went, yeah, this is done. So yeah, it sucked. Here's the thing: I never got to play the Black Hood ever. Right? I wore the Black Hood once when I stepped out of the forest and had the standoff with Betty when
Hmm.
she shot the gun out of my hand. That's the only time I wore the Black Hood.
Wow.
So yeah,
Wow.
so kind of weird, right? Like, I never really.
Yeah.
I even asked them when I saw the thing, when I saw that there were the scene with me and the hook, and like, hitting all the locks and the lockers walking down the hallway. I asked if I could actually just play it because it was always, whenever the Black Hood was around, it was always just a stuntman. And the funny thing is the stuntman playing the Black Hood was about 5'8" and had green eyes because that's kind of Martin Thatcher, right? So it was always funny. And then when people would put a photo of the Black Hood, and then they put my photo right beside it, and then they go, "I always knew it was Hal Cooper." And if you look at those photos, it is so obvious that it's not me, right? I mean, it would be so obvious that it's not Martin either because they didn't tell anyone. They tried to keep it a secret from the cast who the Black Hood was so that we wouldn't leak it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So my answer in a nutshell, yeah, I enjoyed playing Hal in the prison scenes because it was a little more. It was just interesting, you know. Hal Cooper was fun to play, but I didn't really have much depth as Hal Cooper. I just kind of always got berated by Alice on, you know, why I sent our daughter to the school. Wasn't a whole bunch of meat on the bone for Hal Cooper, but there was a lot of meat on the bone for that third season as my Black Hood character. I always thought that, you know, what was the payoff to have me break out and get rid of the character? I thought, what it'd be interesting if he just, you know, even if I only did 2 or 3 episodes a year after the third season, you know, it'd be an interesting storyline for Betty and Hal to have this relationship, you know.
I agree. That's
right?
true.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
what was the payoff? There wasn't a big pay. The only thing they did was they got rid of a salary. You know what I mean? I came out and I ended up in prison, and then I broke out, and then they killed me. I'm like, well, there's no what was, and they never even told me if I was really dead because you never saw me dead. All you heard was a gunshot, right? And then you saw Betty's eyes, and then they ran out of the forest. So they never ever
Right.
really told me if I died or not either. It was weird.
Justice for
But
Hal Cooper.
yeah,
They
right.
should have given you like a little more of a heads up.
Yeah.
Well, you know, here's the thing, you know, as a hired gun, you know, on TV shows, really my job is just to be there and say the words and create characters. You know, I don't. They're my boss. They run the show, and they run it how they want to run it. So you know, I don't really have much say when it comes to that. But I really do feel like, you know, there could have been a lot to do with Hal, but also to, you know, you're on a TV show with 16 characters, and the main characters are 4 kids, right? So you've got Archie, Betty, Veronica, and Jughead, and that's the focus of the show. So to be a parent on the show and to be in a 2-parent relationship like I was with Alice and Hal, they just sort of seemed to lean towards Alice Betty relationship than they did Hal Betty relationship. So you know, it is what it was. I really enjoyed the show. The people were fantastic, and as an actor, you yearn to dig deeper. That's all.
Yeah, I get you.
Yes. Yeah, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all. That I hope that answered that question.
Yeah, that
it
did.
did.
That did.
That answer, right?
Yeah. So my next question is, did you have, well, I think you said this before, but maybe we'll add on to this question. Did you have a favorite episode to film, and what made that episode your favorite?
Okay, so I'll go back to the episode where I think it was the Jason Blossom funeral episode at the Blossom House. And for some reason, Machen wasn't in that episode. I could never figure out why she wasn't there other than to save cost. Because it just made no sense that she wasn't there for the funeral. The same as it made no sense, if you guys remember, they had a big meeting at my house on the whole like roofie episode. And I said to the writers, I go, you have a meeting at my house where my daughter is in danger of being roofied, and I'm not there. I honestly,
I remember you told me about that.
Yeah. I just couldn't. I just like shook my head at that. You know, basically it came down to, they just were like, oh, well, you know, you're expendable. We don't really need you for this episode. So we'll save some money. And, you know, because we have a lot of other parents. And I'm like, you have parents of like Reggie Mantle and stuff like that, like that aren't even in the show, and they're at this meeting, and it's at my house even, and
Oh,
they never
Yeah.
really even told me why I wasn't there. They were so it was just weird to me. I'm like, just tell me, like, am I out of town on business? What am I doing? Like, yeah, it was just I just find those type of things so frustrating as an actor. But yeah, so my favorite episode would have been that. I can't remember, you guys. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it was first season, I think, episode 7. And then probably um my first time playing a la Hannibal Lecter in my prison cell was I just thought the look of that was really different than the show, the whole like lighting and the whole like I don't know, just the setup of those scenes with Betty and I just felt those were really. I don't know how you guys felt as an audience, but I just thought those were just really different from the show, and that it was really just eerie and interesting that this relationship is now her coming to me and talking to me about stuff that I'm in prison, and yeah, it was just. I really wish that I didn't break out, that I could have just done scenes like that, because they were. I thought they had a lot of depth to them.
For sure. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. Okay, going off of that, what was your best memory on set from any of the seasons? Anything?
Oh, my best memory. Honestly, I was like so many, just because I really enjoyed the young cast. Um, if you remember in episode 7 or season 7, when Alice and I did the whole Halloween thing where we were dressed up and we were doing a concoction and our hair was all messy and crazy. That was actually kind of a fun episode to shoot with Machen, because we kind of riffed our way through that whole like scene, and I just remember how much fun that was because we couldn't stop laughing. And so I remember that being a fond memory. And the other thing that I wish would have happened more is I wish I would have had more interaction during the show with Archie and Jughead and the other characters. I never really got to work with the guys, right? And they were always so much fun. There were always lots of pranks going on, and that's kind of how I work. But I was always just part of the Cooper storyline. Like there was a time, you guys, when I didn't see Camila Mendez for 4 years.
Oh,
Not,
wow.
not
What?
kidding you. Yeah, I never crossed paths with anyone. I never had a scene in the show with KJ or Cole. I only had one scene in the show with Veronica, and that was when we did this, like when Andy, the guy from CNN, he has his own show. When he came on to do the show as a guest star, I think it's Andy.
Oh,
What's his
yeah.
Yeah.
name?
Yeah.
So that was the only time I ever really had anything to do with the Lodge family. I don't even remember why I was there, um, but yeah. So there was a time when I was off the show. Okay, so after season 2, season 3, I never saw anyone. I only saw Lily. I came in. We would shoot sometimes 2 episodes in 2 days because they just went, okay, we're in the prison cell. Let's just shoot all the prison stuff. So it would just be me and Lily all day shooting all the prison stuff. I didn't see I didn't see Camilla from probably halfway through season 2 until I did season 7. Yeah.
Oh my,
Wow.
that's
Yeah.
insane.
And even like Charles, I never had scenes with Charles or anything. I was always just Machen and Lily. If you look back on the show, I really didn't interact with anyone else on the show. Never had scenes with Skeet.
Wow.
Luke and I used to talk about that all the time. We were like, why isn't there a scene with the dads? Like if the Andrews family and the Cooper family grew up next to each other,
Yeah,
Fred
exactly.
Andrews and Hal Cooper would have been friends. Like, why don't
Yeah.
we have a fun scene where like the dads are at a bar or like a pub, just something like.
Yeah.
And and don't get me wrong, I do understand that the show was for kids and it was about Jughead, Betty, Veronica, and Archie. But every once in a while, Luke and I'd be like, man, this like they could have so much more potential if they just used this Lodge, Cooper, and Andrews triangle of storylines. They kind of veered away. If you noticed that in season two, all of a sudden, like the Black Hood stuff was okay, but like even like having the Gargoyle Kings and just all these other storylines that crept in when they got away from what made the first season so good, and that was the characters of the town of Riverdale.
Yep.
Like
Hmm.
not all
Yeah,
these
we
peripheral,
agree.
Yeah, we say
all
that
the
all the time.
people that they would bring in and then build storylines around for like 5 episode arcs. It just made no sense. But again, that's above my pay grade, people.
Okay, so my next question, and you just actually brought up season seven.
Okay,
So this is a hot take with the fandom.
right.
We know how we feel about it, but we want to know how you feel about it.
Mm-hmm.
How did you feel about season seven taking place in the 1950s?
Yeah. I gotta tell you honestly, at first I was excited because for me, just going back to the look of the comic book, they were only going to do that for half a season, and then
Yep,
I
then they
knew
were going
it.
to.
we knew
I
it.
knew it.
Yeah. Now, the reason they didn't, you guys, is that the cost of that would have been like to all of a sudden change all the sets, and it was just going to be a big, big deal to redo all the inside of the homes to be, to come back. Like, maybe did they think about maybe, okay, well, the first half of, let's film the second half of season three first, and then we'll switch over. But I don't, I think it was about the costs of changing over is why they didn't do it.
Mm.
There was a lot of the stuff from season seven that I really liked though, except for my silly storyline again. It's like, wow, like they couldn't just let Hal Cooper just have 1 ounce of like dignity or goodness in him. Hey, like all of a sudden I had to be paying off. What was her name again? Who was my illegitimate daughter?
Oh, Ethel.
Ethel.
Who is it?
Ethel.
Ethel.
Ethel. Sorry, guys. Yeah. Yeah, it's been sometimes these things kind of go into my head and out, but yeah, and you know what? Again, it wasn't. It was no one told me that. I was sitting on a couch with Machen. We were about to do a scene, and she said something like, "Oh well, yeah, of course, you couldn't keep your. I'm sorry to say this, but if you could have just kept your pecker in your pants." And I was like, "What do you mean?" And I go, "What do you mean by that?" She goes, "You're you're Ethel's dad." I was like, "What?" Like this is like honestly 4 episodes in. I'm like, I had no idea they would. Like I used to sit there and go, "Is there a problem with telling me information?" As an like, why does Machen know the storylines and I don't? It was just so weird. So yeah, then all of a sudden I'm like, oh man, and now I'm paying off Ethel's mom with checks, and then I get basically banished to the basement of the house, right? Like I left the dinner table, and it was just weird. It's just Hal's plight in life. But visually, I enjoyed season seven. I thought the costumer did an amazing job with the looks for all the kids, and especially all the beauty pageant stuff. Like it was really cool. All the sock hops and stuff. The dance
Yeah,
competition.
it had some pretty good moments.
Yeah, I mean, and again, I don't. Yeah, how it ended maybe was a little weird, but I don't know. I look back on the show and I go, man, if I could have just been the age to play Jughead, that would have been. It was the best character. Such a
Yeah,
great.
I love
Yeah,
Jughead.
Jughead was a great character. He got to be kind of like the guy in the shadows, and the narration of the show and stuff. Really cool. That was a great idea. And Cole's so good. So
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
he's a very good actor. All the kids are. They're all. Doesn't surprise me at all that they're still out there doing work.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Fingers crossed. Maybe one day Cole Sprouse will be pretty cool
Hmm.
too.
To do the show?
Yeah. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Okay, well, I'll throw a little plug in there for you.
Yes.
Thank you. There is a lot of, we'll just say there's a lot of unique dialogue, a lot of things on the show, a lot of
Oh,
lines that
yeah.
have been said.
Good question.
Many of them are very iconic, but what is your favorite line? Doesn't have to be one that you said, but do you have a favorite line from the show?
Oh, sure, it's probably had to have come out of Cheryl Blossom's mouth. Honestly, the first season, I loved the relationship between Cheryl and Kevin Keller. I wish they were
Oh.
and I really, honestly, I thought Madeleine really, really, really crushed the character of Cheryl Blossom. Um, I don't know. I think about, I remember an episode where I go over to the Blossom house and I say something like, "What is wrong with you people?"
Yes, that's
You
it.
remember
Yes.
that? And gosh, that must have been, was it season one or season
Yeah,
two?
that
But
was
I just
season one.
remember, was it because I came over because Polly was at their house or something?
Yes.
Yeah,
Mhm.
okay. And this sounds weird to you guys probably that I don't remember this stuff, but I'm really bad for like watching myself on television. So sometimes I don't really even watch all the episodes of the show. So I don't, and if I'm not in them, I don't see them or read them, right? They don't send me the scripts of the episodes I'm not in.
Mm.
So season 3, 4, and 5, or sorry, yeah, 4, 5, and 6, people will come up to me and go, "Oh, this character, this young person was in Riverdale. They played so and so," and I'm like, I have no idea. I didn't see or read season 4, 5, or 6. Isn't that crazy? Seasons 4, 5, and 6. If you ask me a question, I have no idea. All I
Yeah.
know is I get some flashback scenes, right,
Mm.
with a 9-year-old Betty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I remember
it's
that.
crazy, right? So don't ask me anything from those seasons, okay? Please.
Yeah.
I do know
Those
that I do know that Cheryl had superpowers, though, right? Like
Oh,
she,
yeah, yeah.
Oh, well, they
yeah.
all
Everybody
they
did.
all did.
Oh, they all did. Okay,
Hmm.
I thought just
Yeah.
Cheryl.
What do you
That's
think
funny.
Hal's superpower would be if he had them, though? There's a question off the top of
Uh,
my head.
Oh.
what would it be? I think maybe a mind reader. That would be a superpower, Abby. He'd be a mind
Mm.
reader. So, or maybe he's a guy that knows a day before, like almost like the TV show way back in the day, early edition. It was about a guy who knew what was going to happen a day before.
Mm.
Hmm.
And yeah, I thought maybe Hal might have that. But yeah, there were so many things that I felt like I could have brought to the table as Hal Cooper. It's just again really tough when you have such a big cast. It's a real task on writers to make sure they're distributing storylines to everyone to keep everyone happy. And it's not like I don't get me wrong. I loved being on the show. I loved everyone I worked with. It's just when you're a performer, you want to perform. Like
Yeah.
you just you always want something meaty. And I
Yeah.
just felt like I never really got it, except for maybe like in the prison scenes as the Black Hood. It kind of got more interesting. But then again,
Mhm.
I'm having to create a whole fictitious backstory because yeah, and I never really played the Black Hood, so I didn't really know. Like they never even came to me and told me, okay, so these are the things that you did. This is who the Black Hood was. I had to create all of it on my own.
Hmm.
I never got one note from a writer or anyone from the show about who they felt the Black Hood was, why they felt that he did the things that he did, of purging the town of sin, everything. I just had to like kind of figure out, okay, what can I do to make it half-ass interesting, and
Mm.
it won't look like I'm totally ripping off Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah.
So
I
Wow.
guess so.
I don't know. I hope people enjoyed those scenes. I thought they were pretty
Yeah,
interesting.
Hmm.
we did.
Yeah.
I love
And
those
just
scenes. I think they're really cool.
Mm.
yeah,
They are cool.
the look and the feel of them were so
Hmm.
different than the look of the show. Did you
Yeah.
guys notice how the look of the show changed a lot after season 2?
Yeah.
Well, when we
Yes.
got when we got
Yes.
rid of all the because there were times when there was so much smoke on our sets that we'd have to wait so I could actually see Machen before we could do a scene. Like we were 3 feet apart. I'm like, I can't even see her. There's so much smoke. They would always create this atmospheric smoke to diffuse the light and make it look. I just thought the first 2 seasons really looked like it was a really, really cool look for the show. The way they amalgamated, the 50s with, all of our stuff in our house being like the old rotary phones. And if you remember was our newspaper place called the Riverdale Free Press? What was it called again?
The
The Riverdale Register.
Riverdale Register. So even when you went inside the Riverdale Register, all the old computers and everything, right? Like
Yeah.
So they amalgamated this world of being contemporary and back to the look of the 50s in certain things. The car I drove, everything. I thought that was really cool the way they did that. Is there anything that you guys wanted to know personally other than your question sheet, or
did you have personally, I wanted to know
yes,
but then you kind of answered the question already, because you said you really didn't.
My answers are 5 minutes long.
Yeah.
No, I love it. I love it.
No, it's good,
when we talk, we have to like tell each other like, okay, like it's enough.
Yeah.
Like, because otherwise we'll just go on forever. But
right.
I guess, is there someone that you really wish you got to work with on the show that you didn't?
Yeah, I think
Good
probably
question.
I would have liked to have worked more with KJ, or not even more at all.
Yeah.
I never had one scene with KJ in 7 seasons.
Yeah, I
and
got to see him.
especially since there. I mean, the Cooper and the Andrews family, that we lived right beside each other. Like our kids stared at each other through the windows. Like there should have been more of a relationship with the Andrews family,
Yeah.
But I don't know. It was weird. I don't know. When they started pushing the whole FP Jones and Alice, and I just could feel.
Yeah, we don't like that either. We don't like that.
It was weird. I was just like, yeah, it's just
especially
because
Betty and Jughead.
And I like here I get it. Like Skeet's character, it's always like fun and more interesting to be the bad boy, right? You got the bad boy character, you got the leather jacket. I mean, me having to play Hal Cooper as the sweater and the dad, it's like kind of people are it's kind of boring, but oh my gosh, Skeet's character, FB Jones. So, they kind of just pushed that a little bit. Once I saw that was kind of what they were trying to do, then I was like, okay. So now I'm being kind of pushed to the side by this whole FP Alice relationship, and then all of a sudden I'm the Black Hood. I'm like, yeah, I don't think I'm going to have a job here. Thank God Peacemaker came along, because Peacemaker came along during season 5 of Riverdale, I think it was, because I was supposed to be in the musical episode, the Cooper family musical episode. I actually rehearsed all the songs and everything, and then Peacemaker, because it was COVID, Peacemaker decided that they wouldn't let me do it because they were too worried that I would get
COVID.
What?
COVID. Yeah.
Wow.
I love that episode.
So I rehearsed all the songs and everything, and then 3 days before I was supposed to shoot it, they wouldn't allow me to do it, which I thought was really weird, you guys, because we both had sister parent companies, the WB, and we had the exact same protocols of being on Peacemaker and being on Riverdale. And I thought to myself, you're better off to tell me I can't go shopping, grocery shopping, than say I can't do the show Riverdale, because it's so strict on the sets. It's like, there's no way I'm getting COVID from either of these shows. I'm being tested every day. And everyone on the show wears masks. They keep everyone separated. And then I go home and I go out to Home Depot and I go out, you know what I mean? Like, they were better off to tell me I couldn't go out of my house than say that I couldn't do another TV show, really. when you look at it,
Right.
right? But yeah, isn't that funny? I remember rehearsing all the songs, and I was about to go in to record them, and then they went, "Yeah, you're not in the episode
Oh my
anymore."
God. That would have been so good. You
No.
were gonna sing too?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my
Wow.
God.
That's her favorite musical from the
Is it?
show.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, I
Yes.
love the Heather. The Heather's one is like, I think it's the most iconic one,
Mm-hmm.
but I love
right.
that musical.
Mm-hmm.
Can't lie, I love that one. That would have been
Yeah,
really good to see you in it. Would have made it even
Mm-hmm.
better.
yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it would. I definitely. I mean, like I said, I was disappointed as well because I really did enjoy the show. I can honestly tell you, I was a bit heartbroken when I became the Black Hood.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so funny because all the producers were coming up going, "Oh, you're the Black Hood." I'm like, "Why are you excited about that? Like, why is anyone excited if I'm the Black Hood?" I'm like, "I'm out of a job. I know it, you know."
Mm-hmm.
But so is the plight of an actor. You know, one door
Yeah.
closes, another one opens.
Mm-hmm.
I
And
really
hey, they
enjoyed
knew you could do it.
that.
Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
maybe that was it. I don't know. I mean, it was cool to play an iconic character like that too. But maybe they should do a spin-off of the Black Hood. What do you say?
Yeah.
Yeah, they should.
I think they should.
Because I believe it was a comic book, right? The
Yeah.
Black Hood.
Yeah, it was.
Mm-hmm.
He,
Yep.
he was a he was a masked vigilante in the
Mm-hmm.
comic book, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
See, that was the problem with me having this grand illusion that I was going to come out and redeem myself because I didn't commit like really misdemeanors. You know, I murdered teenagers.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, yeah, I don't how if I'm busting out or if I'm getting out, there's no way for me to redeem myself from what I've done. It
Yeah.
wasn't. But
Well, a lot of things, a lot of crazy things happen in Riverdale.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Anything's possible.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Maybe we
Yeah.
should do a reunion show one day, huh?
Yes. Yes.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, I met a lot of great people on my tenure on the show. Not only the cast, but just getting to know a lot of the directors and the writers and the producers and the showrunners, and it was really just a good memory. Other than the fact that I didn't want to lose my job, I had bring a lot of fond memories from doing the show.
Yeah, that
And I
brings me
got to, and
to.
I got to meet Abby from doing the show,
Oh.
Oh.
and Abby's mom, who's lovely as well.
Oh, yeah,
Oh.
I know she didn't realize that we were gonna do this so early. And she was gonna come in and say hi, but
Oh,
she's at
Oh.
work.
oh, that's too bad.
Oh.
Yeah, but she
Oh.
sends her love. She says
Good.
hello.
My
So,
mom is a big fan too. She said, I want to be on the podcast with Lochlyn Munro. Even
oh,
though I asked her to be on the podcast a couple of episodes ago and she didn't want to do it. She was all shy. But then she said, no, I want to be on it with Lochlyn Munro. Aw.
yeah, your mom's awesome.
Uh,
Yeah, it's always great to see you guys whenever I do signings and stuff. So
Yeah,
hopefully,
we always I'm always on the lookout. If you're nearby, I'm like, oh, we gotta
yeah,
go.
I know that's great. I think I
Yeah.
have one in Pennsylvania in June or July, Abby. I know
Oh,
that's
oh,
not
I'll have
too
to check
far
it
from you.
out.
Yeah, yeah.
Have to
So
check it out.
I can't remember the town. I maybe it was more closer to Philadelphia, but I can't remember. They all kind of amalgamate into one sometimes.
you should
And
come back to Minnesota.
now I know what it's like to be a musician and go on tour because man, honestly, people always say, "Oh my gosh, what was that city like? What was that city like?" I'm like, I flew in, I checked into a hotel, I walked down to the convention center 3 times, and then I flew out. So
Uh,
really, all you do, unless you have time to stay for a few days, which I never do. Um, I just see the inside of convention halls, so they just kind of all look the same to me. The only time I see the cities is from the airplane flying in or from the drive from the airport to the hotel. Interesting, right?
that
Yeah.
is interesting.
Yeah.
Should come back to Minnesota. I was working when you came and I couldn't get off.
Was I in?
Yeah, you were in Minneapolis.
I was in Minneapolis. Yes,
Yeah.
a few months ago,
Yeah,
right?
that was pretty recently, yeah.
Yeah, it was
And I
like,
wanted to go, but I had to work.
oh, okay. Well, I think I could probably get back to that Crypticon. It was a good one. It was fun.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, again, I didn't really see much of the twin.
not
Is
much of the city.
That's the Twin Cities, right? Isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that would have been cool. Well, hopefully I can get back there this year and we can
Mm.
meet in person.
Yes, yes. I'll make
Yeah.
Yeah.
sure.
So
And
I have one more question for
yeah,
you.
go Abby.
So I love hearing all the behind the scenes stories from set. So is there something that you could tell us about behind the scenes, something of Riverdale that maybe we don't
Uh,
know?
my favorite moments were always just sitting in the cast tent and listening to the kids talk and, hearing about, what they've been up to. But again, I really must say that I don't have a lot of behind the scenes shenanigans like KJ and Cole and all these guys because I was always just with Machen and Lily, and they're both kind of low key people.
Mm.
So I would just, you know, I always I always looked forward to whenever we had the big community hall scenes or just something where I knew I was going to be able to see Mark and see, when Robin Gibbons was on the show, and Martin Cummins and I have been friends for years. And so I always looked forward to those scenes because I knew that I was going to be able to hang out and chat with everyone. And so for me, my BTS moments really suck because I would always see KJ and everyone else's Instagrams and how much fun they were having, and I never had those moments, to tell you the truth, because it's just that Lily and Machen just like they. I would just sit in the cast tent and we would just have like normal conversations, and then we'd do our work, and then I'd go home. So it was kind of odd to think that I didn't really have anything like that because usually I'm usually the one that's kind of like my Arrested Development KJ Appa attitude, right? So, I was always the one pulling all the pranks and doing all the stuff, but for this one, not so much.
Speaking of
Sorry, Abby.
KJ.
I
No,
wish I
you're
could.
good. Speaking of KJ, I have one final question about about him.
Yeah.
So, I don't know how active you are online right now,
No.
but I just gotta know, have you seen
I
it?
I think I've seen one clip of him. Is he Mr. Fantastic or something with him?
Mr. Fantasy, yeah.
Mr. Fantasy.
Mr. Fantasy. I think it's pretty genius, and it doesn't surprise me because he really does have a goofy sense of humor. I'm
Hmm.
shocked that he does so many dramas. I mean, he's a good actor, but he should really do some more comedy because he's got a really good sense of humor and he's kind of fearless. Like I love the fact that he doesn't mind making a goof of himself on social
Yeah.
media, right?
Yeah.
Because that's more interesting to me than just, you find all these people that are always trying to find highlight reels of their life and post them. And it's, I'm not totally active on social media. My kids are always telling me that I have to be more active, but I'm like, it's a lot of work. That's a lot of work to create Mr. Fantasy and to
Yeah.
just like honestly to always be aware of like driving down the road and having your phone on so that people can see you driving down the road. I just can't grasp my head around it. It just seems like too much work to be overindulgent because I don't even watch myself on television. I don't really care that much about it, even though I know I should, because that's really kind of the way the world is now. Right? Your fan base wants to see you doing everyday things, I guess, or creating entertainment for them. So I tip my hat off to KJ for being able to like find the time to even do it,
Hmm.
you know? But yeah, what do you think of Mr. Fantasy? You like it?
We love
Yeah,
Mr.
I
Fantasy.
mean, I think all fans of KJ are not really surprised either
No.
Yeah.
because he's just, you know, like
He's
he's
a
been
he's a
showing us this
goofy.
side of him.
It's really funny for me too, like I we shot the pilot episode of Riverdale in 2016. So that's going to be 10 years come January.
Hmm.
Oh my God.
10 years. So KJ went from 18 to 28,
Hmm.
right? So I met him when he was 18 years old. He was a goofy teenager. All the kids were young. I think Cole was the oldest at maybe 23.
Hmm.
Cole was 23 or 24 when we started Riverdale, maybe a bit younger. But KJ was the youngest at 18, and now he's 28, right? So
Hmm.
I saw him go through transition of like a teenager to into young adulthood and then to being a parent. Yeah, crazy, really crazy, you know.
Hmm.
I saw look at Charles Melton. I would never have thought and I love Charles and I think he's a great actor. Would I have ever thought he'd be up for Golden Globe awards and stuff like that? It's just, like honestly, I think it's so amazing to see the journey of everyone. And nothing shocks me. Nothing shocks me. They're all talented. They're all talented. So, and they're all go-getters. They're like young, like Madeleine Petsch is like this, like right out of the gate was this little entrepreneur, like just all of a sudden she's got clothing lines and sunglass lines. I mean, it's a whole different thing, nowadays when you come onto the scene and you get that type of recognition right away because social media it was non-existent when I was a teen, when I was kind of more in that age that they were, and for them to like just all of a sudden go from I think one of them had like they were like ecstatic that they had 1,000 followers, and then I think by the time season one ended, they had like 30 million, like just nuts, 30 million followers. I was like, are you kidding me?
Crazy.
My son could have come up with a T-shirt design, and if I'd handed it to KJ and told him to wear it and post it one day, my son probably could retire off of that one T-shirt. It's just nuts that type of accessibility and that kind of like even when you think about the how quick the show became a worldwide hit. Well, when I was younger, it took a while for Europe and all these countries to get programs out of the States because when I started out in television, it was Fox, NBC, ABC, and CBS, pretty much, right? Like 4 or 5 channels, and it took a while for Europe and all those other countries to get the rights to them to air them. And then Netflix came along, and the United States was the only country that couldn't get the episodes on Netflix. So when we would air on Wednesday, everywhere in the world, it would air on Netflix
Hmm.
on Thursday, the very next day, except in the United States, because the deal was you had to wait until the whole season aired on the CW. Then the very next day, the whole season would be available on Netflix. So the show became a worldwide hit because everyone in the world could watch it like bang the very next day the
Right.
episode was available, right?
Hmm.
So I remember we did a signing, a Riverdale signing in Paris,
Oh.
and honestly, I got up in the morning, and maybe we've talked about this, Abby, but I got up in the morning to go get my wife a coffee, and I walked out of the hotel, and there were there had to be 4 to 5 thousand people standing outside the hotel, and it just erupted. And obviously, they were there to see the kids, but because I was part of the show,
They were.
they were just excited to see anyone from Riverdale, right? And I walked out. I was like, oh my God, I couldn't believe it. This was like we'd only been on the air for like one season, you know? So yeah, the wildfire of the show was just so incomprehensible to me because I'd never really felt that even with Charmed, Charmed was on the WB back then, but there was no streaming networks or anything at that time.
Right. That is
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
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 All those
So that's
people.
kind of like the advantage of streaming to the industry now. Your fan bases, you can grow your fan base very quickly now
Hmm.
compared to back. And well,
Yeah.
I
My
I
gosh.
hope I haven't talked your ear off, ladies. I'm sorry.
No,
No.
it's good. It's
No, we
great.
talk a lot. We talk a lot
Yeah.
too when we when we do our like
Yeah.
just us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's good
like I
though.
said.
No, you got to keep. You don't want to have too many long gaps in the
Yeah.
conversations,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I know, it's funny for me as a young actor, I used to just, man, when I did the movies Unforgiven and these films with all these iconic actors, I would just sit around and just listen to stories, and I was a sponge. I would never leave set. I just thought it was so interesting. Not only like, like these people are a bit older and they've lived a life and they have stories to tell, but they were just so interesting, like Eastwood and Morgan Freeman and Gene Hackman and all these
Hmm.
people that, all these just throughout my career, like it's just amazing at the people I've been able to work with. And then I started to find myself on Riverdale. I was
Oh.
starting to kind of be that. I was the guy sitting around telling the stories now.
Oh.
So it's been kind of a funny transition in my career where I went from listening to the stories to now like having almost 40 years in the industry, and now I tell the stories. That's probably why my answers and why I talk so much is just because honestly, I still love my job, and I love to like let people know the experiences, because I know people find this industry really interesting.
Yeah, we do.
Hmm.
Definitely. We
That's
love
good.
hearing everything that you have been saying because some of
Oh,
this
good.
we didn't even know. We
Mm-mm.
suspected like
Yeah.
But
about
didn't know
season
for sure.
7. We
Hmm.
did like yeah, that's so interesting. Like
Hmm.
with they were gonna go back.
Yeah.
They should. I wish they
Yeah.
went back. I wish they
Yeah.
went back so
I know
bad.
a lot of people were like, "Oh, they could have. Why didn't they just come back out of that universe and go to modern day again?" But I really do believe it was a cost situation and a time situation of having to redo everything over. Right? It would have been monumental. I think the costume designers would have gone crazy.
Yeah,
Hmm.
man, I really wish they would have gone back though.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but I was so happy when I saw that you were coming back for 7. Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember seeing that
I didn't
online.
really know. And here's again that no one even asked me. All I
Yeah.
did, like I got a call from my agent saying, "Hey, you're in the first 2 episodes of season 7." I'm like, what if I didn't? What if I was held a grudge and
Yeah.
said, no, I don't want to be in the show. It was just so funny how they always took it for granted that I was like fine with everything. You
Hmm.
know, you're the Black Hood. We don't know why. Uh, you're the Black Hood, but you have to make it up yourself. Oh, by the way, you're on the show now. Oh, but we're not going to tell you that you're Ethel's dad until you actually read the script, which means that all the other scripts leading up to me finding out I was the audience finding out that I was Ethel's dad, I would have not a clue. So,
Hmm.
to like add any type of like things to my performance that would be,
Yeah.
you know, it was just weird to me. But
Yeah. It seems like it's backwards because then you can't even add any like tidbits or anything if you
yeah,
have no idea. You can't
well,
have
yeah,
any hints.
yeah. And I'm sure that a lot of times it was because they don't want you to like give away anything, but still,
Hmm.
it's like that it just doesn't make my performance layered, because then if I read the script where all of a sudden I'm Ethel's dad, then I go back and I think about the first 4 episodes and I go, oh my God, I feel like I would have played that different, or I would have, like, if I'd have known that, I feel like it was, I felt like a farce. Like, honestly, when they told me I was a Black Hood, I felt like a bit of a farce, because I was like, I've never been the Black Hood. So now I've got to be the Black Hood. And, I felt so bad for the fan base who were like, we always knew it was you. We always knew it was you. And I always felt so bad going, you know what? It wasn't always me,
Yeah.
because I kind of feel like if I say that, maybe the fan base is let down, that they feel that they've been jilted as well. But
Hmm.
again, it's not like Martin was ever in the Black Hood either. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then they had to change your eyes too.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, I didn't see the episode. I don't remember the episodes. But someone told me that they, like, when I did the Cooper Home movie, that my eyes were a bit greener. Did they? I wonder if they did that
Yeah.
post.
Yeah, they like I remember they zoom in on you and they make your
Yeah.
eyes
Green.
green.
Really? Oh my.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my eyes are very, like, I would say that pretty distinctly bluish gray,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But
So it makes it
yeah.
so funny because
And
I
Martin
know. That's
and
why it's
Martin
so funny.
and Martin's eyes are very green, you know.
Hmm.
That's funny. But yeah, is there anything else that or should we save it for part two?
ooh, part two. I like how that
Ooh.
sounds.
Right? I mean,
I,
why can't we do a few of these a year, Abby? Why not?
oh,
Yeah, let's do it.
I
You
All
know,
like the
we'll
right.
talk
sound of
about,
that.
why don't we do one after Scary Movie comes out, and then we can
Ooh.
talk about
Yeah.
Scary Movie, and we can talk about all sorts of things. It doesn't just have to be Riverdale,
All
Yeah.
right. I like
even
how
though it
that
is a
sounds.
Riverdale
Yep.
podcast.
Yeah. Well, I like the sound of that.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, we could yeah, so I guess we'll save the rest for the next part, guys.
Yeah.
So we won't say goodbye. We'll just say see
Yeah,
you
we'll
next
say
time.
see you
Yep.
later. We'll say
We
see
will.
you next time.
We'll see you next time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
after Scary Movie or I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well,
All right.
thank you, Lochlyn. You are the best ever. Yeah.
My pleasure.
Mhm.
It was so much fun. I'm glad that we could do this.
Yes.
Aw.
Thank you so much.
Thank
This is
you.
truly this is amazing. You're the greatest.
Oh.
This has been awesome. You've
Good.
answered some questions that the people have been wondering that I've been
Yeah.
wondering
Good.
for a long time. So
Mhm.
thank
Well,
you
that's
so much.
my pleasure, ladies. My pleasure.
Oh.
Take care of yourselves. I wish both of you a wonderful Christmas holiday with you and your families, and to all the fan base out there. Um, I look forward to doing this again.
And we look forward to having you
Okay.
back. All right.
All
Awesome.
right.
Let's do it. Take care, everyone. We'll see you soon, okay?
All right. I'll
Yeah.
see you soon, Lachlan.
Thank
Thank you so
you.
much.
Okay, guys.
All right.
Okay,
Bye.
no problem.
Bye.
Cheers.